Certainly. Here's an expanded 750-word segment for the first key point of the speech ***. Kill your weak feelings ***, written in a style that echoes the wisdom, warmth, and inspiring voice you might expect from a great leader like Nelson Mandela. A strong, dignified presence without naming the original inspiration. My friends, today I want to speak to you about something that lives inside all of us, a quiet battle that wages in the depths of our hearts and minds. It is the struggle with our own feelings, especially those that make us feel small, uncertain, or weak. These feelings, though natural and human, often hold us back from becoming the people we were meant to be. It is not easy to face them, but I ask you to listen closely. It is not enough to simply feel these emotions. We must learn to master them, to rise above them, and to never allow them to define who we are. We are born with a full spectrum of feelings: fear, doubt, sadness, loneliness. These are not strangers to us. They visit us like unwelcome guests at times, but we cannot afford to let them take permanent residence in our souls. It is important to acknowledge these emotions, to recognize their presence without shame or judgment. To deny that we feel fear or insecurity is to deny our own humanity. But there is a critical difference between feeling weak and being weak. Weak feelings do not make you weak people. They are moments, passing shadows on the landscape of your life. The first step in overcoming these feelings is to confront them head on with honesty. We must not hide from our fears or run away when doubt creeps in. Instead, we must meet these feelings as we would meet an old friend who has lost their way. Acknowledge them. Listen to what they have to say, and then gently remind them of the strength that lies within us. The truth is, those feelings of weakness often arise when we face the unknown or when we stand at the edge of great change. They are not signs of failure, but signs of growth. When you find yourself overwhelmed by worry or despair, remember that these feelings do not have the final say. You have the power to decide what comes next. You are not a victim to your emotions. You are their master. This requires a courage that is not loud or boastful, but quiet and steadfast. A courage that whispers to the heart that you are greater than your fears. You see, the path to greatness is never smooth or free of hardship. It is through challenge and adversity that we discover what we are truly made of. Those weak feelings, those moments of vulnerability, they are the tests we must endure. But endurance alone is not enough. We must also transform these moments into stepping stones. When fear tries to paralyze you, turn it into determination. When doubt tries to cloud your vision, let clarity and purpose shine through. It is often said that the greatest strength lies in knowing yourself fully, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. To kill your weak feelings does not mean to kill your sensitivity or your compassion. On the contrary, it means to cultivate a resilience that embraces your humanity while refusing to be overcome by it. It means holding your head high in the face of uncertainty, knowing that you are capable of standing firm. There is a story I often reflect upon, the story of a people who faced impossible odds, yet chose to carry their dignity like a shield. They did not deny their pain or their fear, but they refused to be broken by it. In their moments of greatest trial, they reminded themselves that their spirit was stronger than their circumstances. This spirit is not reserved for the few. It is a birthright for every one of us. I urge you to remember that your feelings, even the weakest ones, are not enemies. They are signals, messages from your soul asking for attention. Listen to them, learn from them, but do not obey them blindly. Train your mind to see beyond the immediate discomfort, beyond the voice that tells you to give up or to hide. Replace that voice with a new one, one that says, I am enough, I am capable, I will persevere. In moments when you feel the weight of doubt pressing upon you, remind yourself that greatness is not the absence of weakness, but the triumph over it. Weak feelings are like storms that pass through our lives. They test our roots but do not have to uproot us. We grow stronger when we face the storm and stand tall despite it. So, my friends, as you walk your journey, do not run from the weak feelings inside you. Embrace them briefly and then let them go. Replace them with courage, with resolve, and with the knowledge that every step you take beyond your fear is a victory. This is how we build not just our character, but our destiny. Let us be people who refuse to be defined by our doubts or our fears. Let us be people who meet weakness with strength, uncertainty with faith, and despair with hope. For it is only by killing the hold that weak feelings have over us that we unlock the greatness that lies within. And so I say to you now, stand firm, feel deeply, but do not let your weak feelings be the masters of your fate. If you'd like, I can continue with the next key point or help with the full speech. Certainly. Here is a 750-word expansion of the third key point, written in the same reflective and empowering style. My friends, as we continue this journey of rising above our weak feelings, I want to talk about something fundamental, something that changes everything: the power of taking responsibility. Not responsibility for what others do, or for the hand life has dealt us, but responsibility for our own mindset, for the way we choose to live inside our own minds and hearts. This is the moment when true freedom begins, not the freedom that others give us, but the freedom we claim for ourselves. Too often we look outside ourselves for answers. We wait for circumstances to change, for other people to help, or for some external force to lift us from our struggles. But the real power lies in understanding that we have control over how we respond to whatever life throws our way. Our feelings, those moments of weakness and doubt, are not destiny. They are simply signals that we can choose to interpret differently. This choice, this ownership of our inner world, is the greatest act of courage and liberation we can perform. When we take responsibility for our mindset, we shift from being passive recipients of life's challenges to active architects of our future. This means we stop blaming our fears or anxieties for holding us back. Instead, we say, yes, I feel this way, but I will not let it dictate my actions. It is not always easy, and sometimes it feels like an uphill battle, but it is the most empowering decision we can make. Because when you own your mindset, you reclaim your power. Think of the mind as a garden. If you allow weeds of negativity, doubt, and self-pity to grow unchecked, they will choke out the flowers of hope, strength, and confidence. But if you tend this garden daily, pulling out those weeds and planting seeds of positive thought, discipline, and vision, you create a landscape where resilience can flourish. Taking responsibility means becoming the gardener of your thoughts, carefully choosing what to nurture and what to discard. This responsibility also calls us to a deeper level of honesty with ourselves. It asks us to recognize where our weak feelings come from, sometimes from past hurts, from fears of failure, or from a lack of faith in ourselves, and to confront those origins with courage. When we face these truths openly, we disarm their power over us. We understand that while we cannot always control the circumstances that cause these feelings, we can control how we move forward. Empowerment comes not from denying pain or struggle, but from embracing the fact that we have the ability to change our inner narrative. Every morning when you wake up, you have the chance to choose how you will think, how you will feel, and how you will act. This choice is a gift, and it is also a responsibility. It is a call to rise and to be fully present in your own life. I have witnessed many who, despite great hardship, chose this path. They refused to let their feelings of weakness become a prison. Instead, they used their struggles as lessons and launched themselves forward with a clarity of purpose. They did not wait for the storm to pass. They learned to dance in the rain. And that is the essence of responsibility. It is not about waiting for perfect conditions, but about taking control of what is within your power right now. There is a profound dignity in this act of ownership. When you take responsibility for your mindset, you step into your true self. You become the leader of your own life, accountable not just to others, but to the highest version of yourself. This is where real transformation begins. The weak feelings may still visit, but they no longer command your life. You hold the reins. This is also a call to action, not a passive acceptance, but an active engagement. Responsibility means that when you feel fear, you choose courage. When you feel doubt, you choose faith. When you feel the pull to give up, you choose to persevere. This daily practice of choosing is the foundation of resilience. It is how you build a life that reflects your deepest values and your highest potential. Understand that this does not mean you must carry every burden alone. Taking responsibility for your mindset does not mean rejecting help or community. Rather, it means that you bring your full self to every relationship and every challenge. You do not abdicate your power by leaning on others. You strengthen it by knowing that your foundation is solid and your spirit unbreakable. So, my friends, I ask you now to look within and ask, what part of your mindset are you willing to take full responsibility for today? Which weak feelings will you no longer allow to control your story? How will you tend your inner garden so that it blooms with courage, hope, and strength? Remember, responsibility is the bridge from weakness to power. It is the decision to rise every day with intention and to claim the freedom that comes from knowing that you are, above all, the master of your own mind and heart. If you'd like, I can continue with the final key point or prepare the concluding part of the speech. Just let me know, certainly. Here is a 750-word expansion of the fourth key point, written in the same tone and style as the previous segments. My friends, as we walk this path together, there is one truth I want to share with you that has carried many through the darkest nights and the most uncertain days. It is the power of hope and resilience, the unyielding spirit that refuses to be broken, the light that shines even when all around seems shrouded in darkness. To cultivate hope is not simply to wish for a better tomorrow. It is to build a deep and steady strength inside that sustains us through every trial. Hope is not naive or passive. It is an act of defiance against despair. When the weight of weak feelings threatens to crush your spirit, hope is the voice that whispers, "This too shall pass. There is a better day ahead." It is the understanding that no matter how difficult the journey, the human heart is capable of renewal. Hope plants a seed in the soil of adversity that grows into the courage to keep moving forward. Resilience is the muscle that hope builds. It is what allows us to stand firm in the face of hardship, to rise again each time we fall. Resilience is born from experience. Each struggle endured, each fear confronted, makes us stronger. But it is also a choice, a daily commitment to keep going even when the road is long and the destination unclear. Together, Hope and resilience are the greatest allies in the battle against weak feelings. It is easy to feel overwhelmed when life's storms come, when fear, doubt, and pain seem relentless. But remember, even the strongest storms eventually give way to calm skies. What makes the difference is not that the storm ends quickly, but that we hold on to hope and keep our footing through it all. This is the lesson of resilience. It's not about never falling, but about how we rise again and again. You might ask, how do we nurture this hope and resilience when everything inside us screams for surrender? The answer is found in small acts of faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in our communities, and faith in the possibility of change. Each time we choose to believe in our strength rather than our weakness, we feed the flame of hope. Each time we persevere despite our fears, we build resilience. Look around you. See the faces of those who have overcome great odds. Their stories are not just about victory, but about the courage to hope when there was little reason to do so, and the determination to keep going when the world seemed to say stop. This is not a distant ideal. It is the power that lives within each of us. You are not alone in your struggles, and you carry within you the strength of those who came before, and those who stand beside you now. In cultivating hope and resilience, we also cultivate patience. Change does not happen overnight. Growth does not come without effort and time. But with each step forward, no matter how small, we move closer to a future where weak feelings no longer hold sway. Patience is the quiet companion to hope, reminding us that persistence over time is the path to transformation. We must also remember that hope and resilience are contagious. When one person chooses to stand strong in the face of adversity, it inspires others to do the same. Communities, families, and nations rise on the backs of those who refuse to be broken. By cultivating these qualities within ourselves, we contribute to a greater strength that can move mountains. So I urge you to hold fast to hope and build your resilience every day. Let these be the lights that guide you through the darkness, the anchors that keep you steady in the storm. When weak feelings threaten to pull you under, reach for hope. When doubt tries to silence your voice, call upon resilience. These are the gifts you can give yourself, and in doing so, the world around you. Know that every challenge you face is an opportunity to deepen your hope and strengthen your resilience. This is the path to not just surviving, but thriving. It is the way to kill the hold that weak feelings have on your spirit, and to rise as the strong, courageous person you were always meant to be. If you would like, I can help you put all these parts together into a full speech, or assist with any other requests. Certainly. Here's a 750-word expansion of the second key point, maintaining the tone and style consistent with the previous segment and the overall speech. My friends, once we have begun to recognize our feelings not as chains, but as signals, we must turn our attention to what comes next. It is one thing to see weakness for what it is. It is another to transform that weakness into strength. This transformation is not a matter of magic or luck. It is the result of something far more profound: perseverance and self-discipline. These are the tools that turn ordinary people into extraordinary beings, the quiet forces that forge greatness from struggle. We often hear stories of those who have risen from hardship to success, and it is tempting to think that they were somehow different from us, stronger, luckier, or born with special gifts. But the truth is far simpler and far more inspiring. What separates those who triumph from those who falter is not the absence of weakness, but the refusal to be defined by it. It is the determination to keep moving forward when every part of the body and mind cries out to stop. It is the discipline to face each day with purpose, even when the path is steep and the end is not in sight. Perseverance is more than just stubbornness. It is a deep commitment to your own growth and your own vision. It means showing up day after day, even when you feel tired, afraid, or unsure. It means understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it, a teacher that molds us and refines our character. When weakness threatens to overwhelm you, remember that each moment you resist is a victory. Each step you take despite the pain is a triumph. Self-discipline is the companion of perseverance. It is the inner voice that says, I will do what needs to be done, even when I do not feel like it. It is the daily practice of choosing your long-term goals over momentary comfort. This is not easy. It requires sacrifice, focus, and above all, patience. But it is in this patience that strength grows. Strength is not always loud and explosive. Often, it is quiet and steady. Like the river that carves a canyon not by force, but by persistence over time. Imagine a young tree growing in a storm. The winds buffet it, the rain pounds it, and yet it bends without breaking. Over time, its roots grow deeper, its trunk stronger. This is the nature of perseverance and discipline. Every challenge you face, every trial you endure, is an opportunity to deepen your roots, to make yourself unshakable. I have seen this truth in the lives of many who have walked difficult roads. Their secret was never that they lacked weak moments. They had plenty, but that they chose to keep moving forward despite them. They understood that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of it. This mastery comes from daily acts, rising early to work on a goal, pushing through discomfort, choosing to believe in yourself when the world doubts you. These small victories build the foundation of greatness. Let us also remember that perseverance and self-discipline do not mean we walk alone. True strength often grows in community, through shared struggle and mutual support. When we hold each other accountable, when we encourage one another to rise above our weak feelings, we create a powerful force that no adversity can break. This is the strength of a people united, a family bound by a shared commitment to overcome. It is easy to be discouraged when the journey is long and the obstacles many. But I urge you to see beyond the immediate hardship to the person you are becoming. Weak feelings will come and go, but the discipline you build will stay with you for a lifetime. It will become the foundation on which you stand, the shield that protects you from despair, and the sword that cuts through doubt. Do not underestimate the power of persistence. History is full of those who changed the world simply because they refused to quit. They did not have grand talents or easy lives. What they had was a fierce refusal to be defeated by their weaknesses. This is the kind of strength that lies within each of us, waiting to be awakened. When you commit to persevering, you send a message to yourself and to the world. You are not a victim of your circumstances, but the author of your destiny. Every day you choose discipline. You affirm your belief in your own worth and your own potential. You say, I will not let weakness write my story. So, my friends, as you continue on your path, remember that the true power to overcome lies in your hands. It is forged in the fire of perseverance and tempered by the steady hand of self-discipline. Embrace these qualities as your allies, and you will find that what once seemed impossible becomes achievable. Your weak feelings will no longer control you. Instead, they will be the fuel that propels you forward. And in this transformation, you will discover a strength far greater than you ever imagined, a strength that can move mountains and inspire others to rise alongside you. If you'd like me to continue with the next key point or adjust the style, just let me know.